All right. In true Hawaiian fashion, aloha, everyone. I know, right? My name is Stephanie Epstein. I am the president of the Ukulele Kids Club, as well as a full-time pediatric music therapist down here in South Florida. And welcome to the UKC Academy. So this UKC Academy is kind of something that came out of the silver lining of the pandemic, a way for us still to be able to interact with the music therapists that we work with, the music therapy community, and the patients and families that we work with as well, because these classes are also advertised to them as well. So any patients who've received ukuleles from the Ukulele Kids Club can also then, of course, participate in the new UKC at Home program, which is a combination of this online live Zoom classes, as well as on-demand ukulele lessons through Utropolis, and of course the UKC resource portal. So for those of you who are not familiar with the Ukulele Kids Club, we are a 50c13 nonprofit that donates ukuleles to pediatric music therapy programs across the US and beyond, as well as supports the field of music therapy and supports our patients after discharge as well. So I am going to go ahead though and introduce our amazing teacher for tonight. This is Larry Santos. He is part of the from UPHawaii. Sorry, my daughter's monitor is beeping at me. And if you didn't catch his amazing concert last week or the week before, I can't remember. I'm sorry. Time means nothing in COVID times, right? You can check out his Live from the Clubhouse concert on the UKC's Facebook page. It was absolutely wonderful, along with any of the other Live from the Clubhouse concerts that you can go back and watch as well. So with that, I am going to hand it over to Larry. If you have questions while we go, you can type them in the chat, or you can just wait for the when Larry gives a break to ask for questions, whatever you prefer. So with that, I will hand it over to Larry.
Hello, everyone. Mahalo so much, Stephanie and the UKC Ohana, for allowing me to come in here and share some instruction with ukulele. It's so nice to see all of you. I do recognize most of you guys in here, which is pretty amazing. It's good to see Mark, Jessica, my wife Kyra is down there. SRS is out in the Big Island, and everybody else new here. It's really good to see you. My name is Larry. I represent Ukulele Project Hawaii here in Hawaii, on the island of Oahu currently. Where we go into shelters and give ukuleles there, and also instruction to those kids who are less fortunate, underprivileged, that can't go out and find lessons elsewhere. But today is going to be fun. Quick, maybe 40-minute lesson. We'll go over a few chords in second position, which helps with so much. In second position, it brings dynamic. We here in Hawaii call kanikapila. You may in wherever you are in where you live, you may call it jam sessions or get-togethers or meetups or whatever. But here in Hawaii, we kanikapila. And having multiple ukuleles there, ukuleles, I say, because if you have multiple instruments, you can bring more different dynamics in your ukulele playing. But when we get back together, when this country opens back up and we be able to get to kanikapila together, having these repertoire of second positions in your back pocket to bring out during your kanikapila will just bring that environment of the kanikapila to another level. And those second positions just give a different voice. They're the same chord, just in a higher position on your ukulele. We can, if we have time, go over different voicings where it's not really technically the same chord, but a different voice, if you would. So without any further ado, any questions? Does anybody have the printout? Everybody got the email through it, I'm assuming. If not, Steph, maybe we could email it to them, or through Eventbrite, or I could email it, however it works.
Yeah, I'll email it. I'll email it out to everyone, as well as I'll post the Google Drive link in the chat right now.
Perfect.
So that you guys can get onto that.
Yeah, so on that PDF file or JPEG, whatever I uploaded there, is going to have 8 chords. It's going to be very simple, and these 8 chords that we developed, just most that are easy to play, fun to play, but there's so many. Obviously, there's first, second position chords. So we'll go ahead and get started. Does anybody have any questions before I click share screen and throw the graphics on top of the screen? No? Everybody good?
Can everyone hear okay? We have Mark is saying
Audio.
he's having audio difficulties, but I'm wondering if it's just Mark's computer because everyone else is saying that it sounds okay. So yeah, Mark, try logging out and logging back in, and or check your audio settings in Zoom to make sure that they are on either if you have headphones in, make sure they're on your headphones or in your to come out your speakers.
Nice.
And this is being recorded, so we'll, the copy of this will be emailed out to you afterwards,
Oh,
so you can go back and watch it again, go back and practice all the things.
perfect. Yeah. And then please attach my email, Stephanie, if there's any questions to anyone that might want to come after who watched the replay that might have questions about it. I appreciate that. Thank you. How was that game last night, Daniel?
It was good, bro.
It was a good game last night.
Yeah, it was good, real good. It was good.
Yeah. Yeah, it was a good game.
Aloha, everybody.
All right, here we go. I'm going to start sharing screen. So once again, thank you, Stephanie, for being here and monitoring the chat and helping us out with the comments or any questions that we have. Raise your hand, guys. Try to keep it muted if at all possible. If your hand's not being seen for the 5 minutes, I guess you have it raised, just maybe unmute and just ask nicely to our awesome host. Okay, so here are second position hands. As you guys can see, they're written in technically tab formation. By looking at our, G, C, E, A strings, right? Our top string, hopefully everybody in here is right-handed. So our top string, and then to our bottom string. So this may remind you of a B flat chord. Well, yes, I guess root of it kind of is a B flat. Well, technically root of it is a C chord. And just how do we find that? We're going to go over that. We're going to go over our C chord right now and how do we find that? So if you look at it, you see it here, your first finger on the third fret, and then your second finger on the fourth fret, third string, and then your third finger on the top string on the fifth fret. Now that goes like this. I don't know if I'm big screen for you guys. Hopefully I am, but the way we got that is we started with the A chord, right? The A chord is everybody's, fun, easy A chord that we have, right? But if we practice, there was a tip I threw out a couple of weeks ago about playing all your chords that you like to play, maybe 20 of them without your first finger. It will help with this fundamentals of bringing the second chord positions into your music life. So let's minus our first finger. Let's get rid of it, okay? And just play with our three fingers. So let's hold the A chord with our second and third finger, okay? And we'll slide it over. We'll bring that imaginary nut here over to our first fret. So that's where we get our B flat. Obviously, we don't need to hold our top two strings because that's not going to do anything when we have our two fingers up front leading the way. So we'll just bring it down here. And that looks like a B flat, right? Everybody knows B flat. We slide it up one more fret. That's a B, right? Because B flat is flat, then a B. And then B and C are right next to each other. So up there on the third fret is our C chord, second position. Now, like I said in the beginning, having and playing this C chord brings different dynamics on things, right? We have pretty much the same register of notes. I have a low G here, so this is kind of like a regular G here, right? E, G, and C again. And like Daniel, he already has different octaves on his strings because he has a 6-string kamaka there. So playing second position is even brighter for him. But another reason for holding a C chord like this is reggae music or muted strums. It's easier for you to strum and lift your fingers off the fretboard and mute your strings, right? Like a strum and a mute. Hopefully I'm not coming in too hot, too loud. A strum and a mute, right? You lift your fingers off. It's easier the mute than and here. So I call it left hand mute or lifting your fingers off, right? So that's another plus of having these second chord positions in your vault of knowledge, ukulele knowledge. So having the second position, one brings different dynamics, and two, it's easier to mute when you have like reggae strums. So if you want to mute, you just squeeze and let go, right? Squeeze and let go, squeeze, let go, squeeze, let go, right? As opposed to having a C, you're gonna have to do a little bit more mechanics with your hand, right? Or your hand here, your strumming hand. So that's a good thing to have. If you want to have a more of a reggae strum, maybe say like steer it up or something like, right? It's a little bit easier for you to mute, have a reggae vibe to it and stuff. All right. Any questions on the C chord? Any questions on we're gonna, because that's pretty much how it's gonna be done throughout the time. We're gonna just press on because we got a couple more chords to get through. All right. A minor. A minor is a fun way of playing this chord here. It's rooted from our G minor chord shape. We have our first finger on the 3rd fret, that's C note. Then our second finger is on our 4th fret, 3rd string, or C string, and then our 3rd finger or ring finger is on the 5th fret of the E string. Now you may keep the G open because the G note is registered in our A minor keys or our C major keys. So having the G is fine. It kind of makes it a little bit different voicing. If you don't like it and you don't want it there, you could put your ring finger on the top here. Not ring finger, well, that pinky, your pinky on top here, and that'll kind of round out the sound with that A note, right? To make it an A minor. Now, what's the good thing about playing A minor like that when it's a 1-finger chord, right? So a C, 1-finger chord. Why are we adding 3 fingers, 4 fingers to it? Well, another reason is that reggae muted strum, right? That reggae minors are always in reggae music, I know, right? But also, there's a lot of songs, like a lot of jazzy kind of songs that will slide from a G minor to an A minor, right? To slide it back and forth is kind of nice, kind of pretty, right? It's a little bit different than a G minor to A minor. A little bit different, right? It's voicing. It's all about voicing. It's all about the color, right? I always teach my students the first couple weeks. It's like building or baking a cake. It takes time for prep and ingredients and mixing and baking and all this kind of stuff. And you can't eat it yet. And then you get to decorate it and make it pretty and frostings and all this kind of stuff, right? And then you can eat it. So, and when we get to that frosting part, let's get at the baking stuff. So this easy kind of fundamental things is very important, right? So once again, that A minor chord is just your G minor shape moved up to your 3rd fret. So 2, right? Because we're going to start from G minor and move it up 1. That's G sharp and then A minor. And that square over there with those blue dots, you could put your pinky if you wanted to. If not, it's really not necessary. Yeah. Okay. F. Ooh, I know everybody loves the E chord, right? Everybody loves the way they hold the E chord. I know some people hold it kind of fancy, maybe like that. I don't even know. Some people hold it super fancy. I don't. I hold a regular E chord. So moving up to the F chord is just another voice. And this is a higher register, definitely, than that. All right. Because we got a high C instead of our low. Well, we still have the low C if you have a low G like I do. Sorry, everywhere I look, there's all low G's. So it looks like most people, well, Jessica has a high G. I'm sure Mark has a couple of both, right? But having this F is good too. Again, all 4 strings, muted, and a higher register. Also, let's add on to the importance, I guess, or the blessings, the hidden blessings that second chord position gives us is chord melodies, right? If our melody is a C register, right? If we wanted to play that melody, like what song is that? White Sandy Beach, right? That's a C register. So if we wanted to play F here, we already have that C registered, right? That high C there on the 3rd fret. Right. So that's another good thing too about second positions. This next chord will really prove that. Once again, that's the F. That's just moved up from the E, moved up 1 fret. Yeah. So E starts on the 2nd and bar the top 3 strings of the 4th, but the F, we're moving it up 1. Yeah. Now here is where chord melodies, moving on to G7, sorry. Moving on to G7, this is really where chord melodies come into play. When you are playing this G7 here, this right here, 4th note is your D note. That pinky is your D. I'll show you why it's key when it comes to chord melodies, without stretching your fingers, but having that different register and things. So this comes from your F7 chord. Actually, it comes from your E chord all the way back up here. But like I said, that rule where we're removing our first finger and playing the E7 with our just our last 3 fingers, we slide it up a fret add it to make it look like an F7. Move it up a fret, F sharp 7 or G flat 7, and then move it up again, and that's G7. So that's going to start on our 3rd fret, 3rd, 4th, and 5th frets. Okay, I'll bring up bigger screen if you guys need to see where actual fingers go. 1st fret, 3rd string, 2nd fret, like an F shape. So your 2nd finger is going to go on your top string on your 4th fret, and then 5 on your 3rd fret, or excuse me, 3rd string, your C string, and then your pinky down there on the bottom. And there's your G7. You could get away with G7, taking away that top string and holding your G7 like that, where your 2nd finger will go on your 3rd fret or your C string, on your 5th fret, excuse me, of your C string, and your 3rd finger, your ring finger, would go on the bottom string of your 5th fret, and then your pointer back here, your 1st finger, will go on that G note. So that's another G7. Why? Because that's still the G note up top, and it's still a G7, right? Just a little bit different voicing, right? Where you just minus the B note, but this is the re-entrant of G. So you add the B note, and there's your full G7. And like I said, like song Island Style, right? The chord melody is right, because if we played G7 here, we would have to stretch. But if we played our registered of our 2nd position G7, we already got that D note there on the bottom string. So that's helpful. That's another helpful way of getting that D note there in the melody. All right, so there's G7. So recap once again, our top 4, because we only really have 8 that we have here, and then we'll bring up some more later if we have time, or definitely have enough time for questions. So C, just your B flat moved up to your 3rd, right? See Stephanie over there barring it. Hey, whatever you need. If you bar the whole thing, good on you. All right, A minor, that's a G minor chord shape, moved up to your 3rd fret, right? And then our F, just like an E, and then our G7. So what we're gonna do, that is your common 1-6-4-5 chord progression. So let's get a little bit strumming action, right? In the C, A minor, F, G7. You guys ready? 1, 2, ready, go. C, hold it, C, A minor, F, and G7. On hold, one more time. F, C. All right, A minor, the F, and G7. And one strum on the C. Awesome, awesome. There's different, right? We've played this before, but playing it up here, just a different voice, right? Oh, sorry. If you wanted to, just a little cheat from C to A minor, you can just add your pinky down there on the 5th fret on the E string. I mean, if you go from C to A minor, you can just add it. If you don't have a long nail like I do, it can fit. And then F, you just bend down it, and then G7. Okay, awesome. Any questions? Do you see anything in the stuff in the chat, Stephanie? We're good. Any questions? Daniel's got a thumbs up. No questions. Brother Mark, I know Brother Mark's just brushing up on things. He's got it down. All right, D minor. Ooh, I like this D minor. I like this D minor. All right, D minor. We're way up there on the 5th fret, way up there. And that's our derived from A minor or a B minor, right? C minor, C sharp, C, D minor, all the way up. That's our 2nd position, right? Because we have the standard D minor here. But now we're going to bar the 5th fret with our 1st finger or whatever's comfortable with you. Maybe help it out with your 2nd finger. And then your 3rd finger would go up there on the D note, right? Yeah, D note, to round out your D minor chord. Right? action. A lot different than this octave down here. Just playing a different rhythm or vibe, yeah? You can do a slide there that you can't do on this one. Can't do that there. But this one you can. Right? There minor. There you go. And well, this is probably, I think my second chord position, my favorite second chord position is C7. This is probably the only C7 I play. Well, this and a lot of other different variants, but I will never play probably standard C7 ever again. I mean, not never again, but this is where I love to play it. This C7 up here, right? Derived from our A7. That's back here. I remember using our -1 finger, moving it up. B flat 7, B7, C7. Right? There's our C7. So we're barring our 3rd fret. And we're adding our 2nd finger over on the 3rd string or the C string of our 4th fret. There's our C7, right? A7, A sharp 7 or B flat 7, B7, C7. We still got the register of the B flat note there, the C note there, the G note there, the E note there. Pretty much the same thing as this, right? But it helps with the chord melody of this guy right here is helpful. Also being able to reach down here, playing a C7 with a, F note in there, it's really helpful. There's a lot of pros on this. A lot of cons is it's much harder to play than this, but I mean, I think the pros weigh it out, right? The risk over the reward weighs it out for sure. Yeah. So there's C7, D minor, 5th fret, C7 on your 3rd fret. All right. And then D. D is just a bar D, moving it up pretty much to your 5th fret with your pinky. I put 4 there here for your pinky. Usually that's where you can reach. If you can reach with your ring, then hey, good on you, but pinky is much less of a strain, less of a reach than it would be with your 3rd finger. So we're just barring the D, the whole 2nd fret. I'm looking at 1 thinking, why am I barring the 1st fret? But that's my 1st finger. Bar the 2nd fret with your 1st finger. Use the backup vice grip on the backing if you need to, right? And then we're going to add that D note. That's why it makes it a D, is the D note there, right? We can derive from C, -1, play the -1, C, C sharp, D, and there's our D note. Or excuse me, D chord for our 2nd position. And then 2nd position A. It looks funky. This A looks funky. If you use the rules of which finger goes where, you should be able to find it. Let's have fun. Can we have some fun? Raise hands. What chord this derived from? Looking at the position. Anything? Anyone? Oh, you guys got it. What you guys got? This. There's no, well, there is wrong answers, obviously, but you're not going to be. Oh, is it going to, are you putting in the chat? G. Does everybody agree that it's G? Any other guesses? G. Everybody agrees with G? Yeah. Technically comes from F. G comes from F too. But by the chord shape, you're right. It was a trick question. If you said F, I actually would have been very surprised. But yeah, it's the G chord shape. It's the absolute G chord shape, right? But obviously, like I said, -1, there's F, right? There's F sharp, there's G, G sharp, and A. Yeah. And we can go literally all the way up. By that chord, by that F or that G chord shape, you can play every chord on this ukulele by that chord alone and not even moving it or changing it at all. Same with the C chord shape or the B flat chord shape. Everything on here, right? But yes, you get an F. That's funny. Yeah, no, you don't get an F. But yeah, it was a trick. It was a setup. I set you up. But yeah, it's pretty much a G chord shape with our pinky helping us out on that C sharp note, right? We on this one, kind of like the A minor, you let it go. If you let it go on top there, like Elsa says, let it go, it changes the whole chord. It actually turns it into an A7 because A7 uses that G note for its chord voicing. But if we hold the G and use our pinky to add that C sharp note, that makes it a true A chord. So from our G, right? Our G is open because we can use the open G. Slide up 1 fret, add that pinky, slide up 2 frets, add that pinky. That pinky goes over there on your 6th fret. It's kind of a stretch. It's a little bit different. Hopefully our hands are getting well worked. Well worked. But that's good. But if you wanted to play a A7 second position, then drop this here, pinky, and play that open G. And that's your A7. Right? A is probably one of my chords that I will play in second position when playing along with someone else who's playing an A chord. I think just the voicing on that, especially with a low G, helps out a lot. And then the muting, and then just the things that, a barred chord over an open chord, you know what I mean? Just even though it's the same notes, for some reason, when you're holding it, it just has some different ring to it than this does. It's just, preference, absolute preference. Well, those are our 8 main and easy second chord positions, and you guys can find anything. Find any chord out there in second position by just minusing your first finger and then just moving it along, right? Starting from a root of anything, right? Like, say this, G major 7, right? We're barring our bottom 3 strings on our second fret. Move it up, G sharp, major 7. Move it up, A major 7, B flat major 7, right? And where would B flat major 7 come in? With maybe like an F chord. It's just different. It's just different voicing. It's just a little bit easier, fun sound to play, right? So anything. C major 7. Well, I want to play D major 7. Okay, well, if this is C, bar, right? The -1 trick. C, I know next one up is C sharp. Next one up would be D major 7. A lot of ways that can come with playing chord positions. And I like I tell my students or other people online is what is it called? Test yourself, or you know what I mean? Like, challenge yourself, I should say. Challenge yourself to play second chord positions. When there's something that are there that has a song and you're playing it and you nailed it in first position, shucks, bring it up second position. It helps you. It's the same song. It's the same chords. Just try and jam it out in the second position. Take a look for, yes, absolutely. So it's called, I just named it the -1. The -1 is playing your most common chords. I developed the high 20 chords, the highest 20 highest most played chords in Hawaiian music. Just something I developed over the years, where I would play a standard G7 like this, right? But we're gonna -1, so we're gonna minus the first finger and play G7. But we still have to play the whole chord. We're still gonna have to play it here, and we're just gonna still have to play it here. But we're taking away. I'm sorry. Take that away. We're gonna take away our first finger, and we're still gonna hold that G7 chord. It has to go on the first fret, so that on the second string, and it has to go here on 2 and 3, or 2 and 4, I should say. Or 1 and 2, 1 and 3, whatever. And here, G7, but we're not using our first finger. And that's just a developmental skill that you can use just to, honestly, you know what this came about? I was cutting prime rib one day, and I still have the scar to prove it. And I cut the tip of my finger off, so I couldn't even play with this first finger. So I'm like, I still need to play ukulele. How am I going to play ukulele without a finger? Well, hey, I still can. But then when the time came back, now I'm, have more strength on these 3 fingers, not depending solely on my first finger. But now having that -1 is here. Same thing, like anything you play, F, right? F, boom. Like there's F or G. G's a little tough. G is tough, -1. Try that one. That's tough. That's a tricky one. Yeah, especially when you long pinky nails. I don't know why I have long pinky nails. Right? C is the easy one. How do you -1? You kind of actually would need to add 1 technically, right? I guess you would say, because everything goes back 1. So you'd use your 4th finger instead of your 3rd if you used corresponding fingers. But A minor, same thing, -1. So you're going to play the 3rd fret, right? What's another chord? D minor. That's a fun one. Try D minor -1. Yeah, that's a fun one too. Easier maybe to bend down your 3rd finger, your ring finger. Your ring finger is probably one of the most flexible fingers you have. So bending that down there too. So that's what for me to brush up on the -1 is take away that 1st finger and still play your same chords, your same 3-finger chords that you would play 2 or 1-finger chords, but just take away that 1st finger and play it, because it's going to help you develop strength on these, memory on these, and help you also strengthen when you want to play those extra chord positions up higher on your register, right? Because you got G7, if you even move up again, that's A7, right? Move it up 3 more, that's C7 all the way up there. You know what I mean? It's crazy. So having that is it, nothing else changes. No strumming changes. Your strumming patterns don't change. Just your muting may change. You're able to mute on your chord position hands, lifting off your fingers when playing the whole thing. But everything else is the same. Strumming is going to be the same. Everything. So real quick, I know we learned a few chords, and I added one. And where did I share again? Here. Okay, so we have these 4 chords. We're going to play another 1, 6, 4, 5, but we're going to play it in the key of F. So our 1 is our F, right? This position here. Then our 6 is our D minor there on 6, right? So we're going to hit it and then move it all the way up there. Okay, all the way up to our D. Then remember that B flat major 7 that I was showing you from G major 7? You can play that here. Right, so that's barring. How do I? Can I? Okay, let me try and I'm gonna try and draw it, but I know it's just not gonna stay. So we're gonna bar this whole thing, and then bar this down here. Hey. There. So that's your B flat major 7. Right, but I know if I zoom out, it's gonna all move and go all jingle jingles, but I won't move it. We'll try that. Okay, for our B flat major 7 or our B flat, and then to our C7. Okay, so 1, 6, 4, 5 again. Once again, it's F, 2nd position. D minor, 2nd position. B flat, major 7, 2nd position, and C7. All right. Ready? Here we go. Get ready in the F. 1, 2, ready on the F. Go. D minor. B flat major 7 and C7. One more time on the F. D minor on the 5th. Get ready for that B flat major 7 and C7. And 1 high F chord. That's a really high one to end it, but that's just like our D, but moving it up on our 5th and our 8th fret. Okay. Clear all drawings. Boop. Okay. Any questions? Hopefully everybody got a little bit of something off of that. Like I said, we are I am available here for any questions now, or yeah, shake off your hands. Is it sore? We gotta crack some knuckles, massage it a little bit, shake it off. I don't know what the technique is to do. Are there any questions? It's open. Hopefully the audio came back in with you, Mark, and you were able to catch this lesson again. But please, any questions? Any questions, tips for everybody else that you saw that you can add?
Can you talk a little bit about incorporating, incorporating the melody, or with especially with these second position finger chordings, even if we are just strumming, um, little extra noodles to add
Okay.
in that make us sound like we know what we're doing when we don't.
Okay. Yeah, sure. There's always different chord voicings with or melodies, right? Like I mentioned, the big one is G7 with that D note there. I mean, if you don't want to stretch, that's why having second position G7 is easy, or that one there. That big melody there, that D is big on a lot of songs when you're playing in C, or even if you're playing in G, to add more of your transition, your resolved chord or your seventh chords, right? Um, A minor, I think, without second position. Let's go back. Just go regular A minor. So, voicing or melody wise, A minor and using our -1, I think strengthens these fingers. So, so if you maybe like A minor 7, but moved over to your B note and then open, and then back down to your second fret, and then back down to your A minor 7, even all this. That's all chordings that you can do, right? Because it's all our A minor, I guess our could definitely teach a whole nother lesson on chord ohana or chord families, what chords go with each other. You know what I mean? If you want to do song composing or figuring out songs. Number one is like figuring out song. You're like, okay, the chord's in G, right? If you kind of compete with people and you don't know the song, but you know, and there's a minor and we're in the key of G, what is the minor in G, or what is the minor in F, or what is the fifth or fourth? And like chord ohana, I think that could be a totally different thing. So even like chord melodies, what notes make up our C scale or our D scale will help with, I think, the question you had on your voicings and stuff. But I don't know if that answered anything. I'm trying to think of what else I could show. That's not too much on the brain for voicing wise, but I think really that -1 stuff will help you strengthen of maybe like more of those kind of voicings. Like if you had a open G without the B, without the fret, second fret, and then added more hammer-ons, and then added your D, right? And chord melodies, all that is three parts, right? You have the chords of the song that you're gonna play, like your 1 6 4 5, the melodies, the pitch, the songs that the song is sung in, and then all you do is add it together, right? You know what I mean? They just add it together. It's pretty much all it is. Easier said than done, obviously. But figuring it out is, easy as, finding the chords, finding the melody, playing it together, whatever's easy for you. And most times those melodies are going to come in your higher registers, right? Your G7 with the D note might come in higher register. Like, okay, it's a G7 chord, but the melody is D chord, or it's a F or C7 chord, but it's a D chord, a D note. But you can't play this because now that just sounds like a regular D. So you're going to hold your second position C7, but add your D note, right? So there's reasons why uh, in the melody of a song. I know a lot of teachers may or instructors may teach with tabs, which is good. I like to teach with notes. I think finding it wherever it is on the fretboard that's easy of playing for you will help. If you notice, like, let's say it's going to be the bottom string on the fifth fret. Okay, well, where else can I play that? Well, I can also play that here on the 10th fret of my E string. So because I know that that is a D note as well. But tab wise, maybe not. And that's helps you, I think, in an open strumming, in maybe finger picking or any of that other kind of stuff. Any other questions?
What's one of your favorite progressions to play?
Ooh, okay, that's a good one. I'll give you a fun and easy one. I like to play C major 7, okay, which is I go corresponding finger. So C major 7 is our second finger on our second fret. Then I go over to A diminished, which is first finger on the first finger top string, second fret, second finger E string, second fret, third finger on the third string, third fret, and then our pinky is down on the bottom string of our third fret as well. Right? That's a diminished. Now, to figure out what diminished chords are, it's any note that you're playing. It's an A diminished. It's also a D sharp diminished. It's also an F sharp diminished. It's also C diminished because I'm playing all those notes. And if you wanted to know, sorry, I'm going off tangent. I'll get there, Brie. Don't worry. If you wanted to also play second position A diminished, all you do is move it up same position, 4 frets. It's all the same chord. Every 4 frets of a diminished are the same chords. Okay, so to go back, C major 7, A diminished, D minor 7, so that's D minor, and added the C note, and then G7, but half time on the G7 here and half there with the second position. So it sounds like this. Now you can play that whole thing in second position. Remember, we got G major 7 we did there, or B flat major 7, so we know 2 frets up. C major 7, 4 frets from the first fret, A diminished all over again, D minor 7, and our G7. So doing the same thing here. That's one of my favorite, I would say, chord progressions. Easy 4-chord chord progression. Any other questions? Oh, I see some in the chat. I have to read them. Oh, that's me. Oh, that's you. Talking about me. Got it. Awesome. So I have a question. The link is going to get emailed. You upload it to your YouTube page. Is that what it is? Okay,
Yes.
okay. Perfect.
Yep. So we upload it. Yeah, it'll be uploaded probably in the next couple days because we go back and kind of edit out, like the beginning and the end. And it'll be uploaded, and I email it out to everyone who had registered.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
and I'll email it out to you as well. I also posted the UPHawaii's YouTube channel right in the chat. There are some really awesome like tutorials and lessons on there, so you guys should definitely check that out.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm trying to put more beginner stuff. People's been asking, like a lot of people at work realize I play ukulele, and they're like, "Oh, hey man, can you teach me?" I'm like, "I don't have time, but hey, my YouTube channel." They go to my YouTube channel, like, I have no what's going on. I was like, "Oh yeah, you know what? That's true. Like, I don't even teach how to tune it. I don't teach how to strum it. I don't teach any of that stuff. I just straight into it, But I do have to have empathy on those who, I find on the street that, I do teach it in class, beginner, but if you're not in my class, it's hard to teach. So I usually just love to send links. So in order for me to send a link, I have to create a link. And in order to create a link, you got to create the stuff. So it's a little tough. A little tough time consuming, but
very much so. Awesome. Well, Larry, thank you so much. I don't know about the rest of you guys, but my hand hurts, and B, I'm really excited to go back and watch this again with so that I can practice and really get some of these really under my hands, because I feel like this just adds a lot to, like you said at the beginning, it just adds kind of a whole different level onto your playing. So I'm really excited to practice. I don't say that often. I'm not often excited to practice, but I am now.
Practice is good. Don't you know what? Don't call it practice. Don't even call it practice.
That's true.
Just call it, you know what I mean? Just
Playing.
Yep, just playing.
Playing, noodling.
Stephanie, do you know Jessica?
I don't think
Gotta get to know her. You need
so.
to get to know
Okay.
her.
Okay.
Gotta get to know her. Jessica, go with Steph. Sorry. I mean, I know
That's cool. No, you're good.
you need to, yeah. It'd be very
Awesome.
good. Yeah.
Jess, I will email you.
And let me know. Let me know. I want to be there when the magic happens because I know it's gonna happen. I know you both, and it's gonna happen. Guarantee.
Awesome.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Well, thank you so much for joining us tonight. Make sure that you are following the UPHawaii on social media. They're on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, as well as the UKC on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. I don't know about you, Larry, but we don't have a TikTok yet because I don't know how that works. Not there yet. Probably my patients could tell you. I have no idea, but we'll get there. Our email addresses are right there in the chat as well, so you guys can shoot us an email if you need to. Make sure that you stay tuned for all the announcements. We do UKC Academy classes twice a month now. All different lessons, all different teachers, all different topics. We have some really awesome ones lined up over the next few months. So you know, even if you can't attend live, like I said, we email out the recordings so that you can watch it afterwards. And just make sure you're following on social media. There are live from the Clubhouse series, which are live concerts, usually a couple times a week now. Everything from amazing ukulele players like Larry to Broadway artists, to recording artists, to music therapists, to ukulele players, and everything in between. So make sure you check that out. As well as supporting the UKC. We have our first virtual 10K coming up this fall in celebration of donating our 10,000th ukulele to hospitalized children around the world. You don't have to do the full 10K. You can do a 1K, a 5K, a 10K. You can walk, run, bike, swim, pogo stick, skip, whatever, what have you. So if you're interested in participating in that, you can as well. And I hope you guys have a wonderful, wonderful Thursday night. Thank you again. Mahalo again to Larry. And take care of yourselves, everyone. It's getting rough out there. So please take care of yourselves, take care of each other, take care of loved ones, take care of perfect strangers on the street. You know, stay safe.
Thank you so much. Thanks, everybody.
Good night, guys.
Aloha.
La 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 la.